What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone is doing well today. Thank you so much for joining our brother. Today, I bring to you another educational video. This one of the ones, you already know the vibes. It's time to learn and educate ourselves today. Today, I bring to you the UK's insane military history. Explained in 8 minutes, not 10, but 8 minutes. 8? Why so specific? It's 8 minutes and 53 seconds. He was not lying. Let's go ahead and jump right into this video, man. I'm excited. Trying to learn a little bit more about the UK's military. You know we've been digging deep lately, and I know a lot, but I'm not educated.
Imagine an island so rainy, its soldiers probably trained in mud by default. A country that built an empire.
What does that mean? Trained in mud by default. Wait, what? Meaning like, this is the basics. This is the basics of what they do. Just training in mud?
Rainy. Its soldiers probably trained in mud by default. A country that built an empire just to ensure everyone drinks tea the right way. Whose military history includes knights, redcoats, spitfires, and commandos that sneak into enemy territory with a dagger and a dry sense of humor. This is the military history of the United Kingdom. In 8 minutes, let's get stuck in. Long before the Union Jack and awkward small talk.
No way he's able to fit the full history of it though in 8 minutes. If he is, y'all go ahead and like up the video. Both of our videos, as a matter of fact.
The British Isles were already a war zone. First, the Celts painted themselves blue and charged into battle screaming. Then the Romans came in, shrugged, and built walls, because clearly no one sane was going up north. After they left, the island turned into a rotating door of invaders, Angles, Saxons, Jutes, Vikings, basically early medieval Airbnb, but with swords. Then came 1066, the Battle of Hastings. A Norman duke named William crossed the channel, saw England, and said, "You know what would look good here? Castles, loads of them." And just like that, Anglo-Saxon England.
Whoa. So, wait a minute. Let me, whoa. Before I jump to conclusions now.
Got a French upgrade with.
Just Anglo-Saxon got that upgrade? Or, you know, is the UK what it is today because of him? I'm talking about with all the castles and stuff. And you know, something else I've really been thinking about is like, you guys tend to overlook your castles and, you know, modern architectural structures. I'm just keeping it real. Y'all tend to just underappreciate it because y'all was born, you was raised around it, you grew up around it. You see it every day, man. You see it every day. I got excited seeing the mountains when going to LA. You wanna know why? Because we don't got that here in the Jersey. I'm in the New Jersey. We don't have that. We don't have that. I get excited crossing the bridge to go to Philly. Oh my goodness, that's so pathetic. But you see what I'm saying? Like,
chainmail, a new ruling class, and more aggressive taxes. From then on, British identity was forged in blood, feudalism, and deep-rooted disdain for the French. Fast forward a couple of centuries, and England is now having regular scuffles with France, because nothing says healthy diplomacy like 116 years of war over who gets to wear the crown and insult the other's mother. During the 100 Years' War, the English rolled out their secret weapon, the longbow. Cheap, deadly, and operated by angry peasants who'd had enough of feudalism, these bows turned French knights into medieval pincushions. Meanwhile, at home, England was busy self-sabotaging. The Wars of the Roses erupted. Two royal families, the Lancasters and the Yorks, playing an extended game of who wants to be king by stabbing each other repeatedly. Eventually, Henry Tudor
what? Let me get out of here.
wins, marries a York, and unites the houses. And the British royals learn a valuable lesson. Marry your rivals before they kill you. Then came the age of exploration, and Britain realized, if we can't stop fighting people here, maybe we should fight people over there. Enter the Navy. Under Queen Elizabeth I, the Royal Navy transformed from a bunch of wet wood and hopes into a professional fighting force. In 1588, Spain sends the Armada, 130 ships strong, to invade England and return it to Catholicism.
130?
England responds with fire ships, superior seamanship, and gale force winds that clearly had a personal vendetta against the Spanish. From this moment on, Britannia doesn't just rule the waves, it dominates them. The Royal Navy becomes the muscle behind Britain's growing influence. It protects trade routes, enforces blockades, and delivers colonialism with extreme prejudice. If there was ocean, there was a British warship on it. If there was land, someone with a British accent probably claimed it in the name of the crown, usually while mispronouncing the local names. The 18th and 19th centuries were the empire's golden age, and everyone else's nightmare. Britain fought a series of global wars against France, Spain, and the Dutch, racking up colonies like they were Pokemon. In the 7 Years' War, arguably the first true world...
Nah, for real, no bull. My goodness. Oh. No country has ever done it like
Britain emerged
like.
victorious, snagging Canada and much of India in the process. And when Napoleon came around declaring liberté, égalité, artillery, Britain said no thanks, and spent the next 2 decades funding coalitions to stop him. The 1805 Battle of Trafalgar proved British naval supremacy, with Admiral Nelson smashing the French and Spanish fleets, albeit fatally for himself. And in 1815, the Duke of Wellington, who famously described his own troops as the scum of the earth, led a coalition that finally defeated Napoleon at Waterloo. Britain was now the world's policeman, but instead of sirens, it had muskets, tea, and confusing rules about queuing. By the Victorian era, redcoats were marching from Canada to Calcutta, South Africa to Singapore.
Y'all was fighting in them redcoats? Y'all was fighting in those? Like, y'all was going to battle in those redcoats? You would think you would only wear those for ceremonies and stuff. I know Canada, you know, the Mounties out there, they kind of wear something similar. I mean, but that's like for ceremonial or something if they're going somewhere formal. Not to battle. That's something different. I've never heard of that, actually. But I've always wondered, you know, nowadays, what happened to the red coat? You know, you don't really see too many red coats unless they're on that horse or something. You don't just see them out and about. And you definitely do not see them going out into war now. Going to fight in battle in a red coat? Nah.
The sun famously never set on the British Empire, mainly because it was always invading somewhere. And while many remember the pomp and prestige, others remember it a bit more critically. You try explaining colonial taxation to the Americans without a tea party breaking out. Then came the 20th century. Big mustaches, bigger egos, and one very, very bad idea. World War I kicked off in 1914 and quickly became a trench-slogging, gas-hurling, soul-crushing affair. The British Expeditionary Force was small but professional, and about to get chewed up in battles like Ypres, the Somme, and Passchendaele. At the Somme, Britain lost over 57,000 men on day one.
What?
Let that sink in. That's like wiping out an entire stadium crowd.
Damn, that's day one? That's day one?
Before lunch. Still, the war effort was massive. Soldiers from across the empire, from India...
Boy, that thing was crazy. How they just... You see how that thing just cocked back that cannon when he pulled that string? That thing just... Oof, man. Look at how he just...
The war effort was massive. Soldiers from across the empire, from India, Australia, Canada, the Caribbean, and Africa, fought alongside British troops in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. This was global war, and it shattered the old world. When the war finally ended in 1918, Britain had won, but the empire was bruised, the economy was tanked, and the soldiers forever changed. Never again, they said. Spoiler, again came sooner than expected. Hitler rolls into Poland. France and Britain say, all right, that's enough of that, and World War II begins. At first, things go terribly. France falls in 6 weeks. Belgium folds. Norway's gone. Britain completely alone. But then, Britain digs in. The Battle of Britain sees the RAF, outnumbered, under pressure, defend the skies against the Luftwaffe.
Right.
Thanks to radar, plucky pilots, and a lot of Winston Churchill's yelling, Hitler's invasion plan crumbles. Meanwhile, British commandos are invented because someone thought, what if we dropped insane men behind enemy lines with knives and sabotage training? Turns out, highly effective. From North Africa to Normandy, British forces fight across every theater. Montgomery defeats Rommel in the desert. The Royal Navy escorts convoys through U-boat-infested waters. And on D-Day, British troops storm Sword, Gold, and Juno beaches with Canadians, Americans, and a worrying amount of tea in their kit bags. By 1945, Hitler's dead, the war is won. And Britain, broke, battered, but standing tall. After the war, Britain's empire...
Y'all did all that to get to Hitler. Y'all did all that to get... Hold on real quick, video. I'm speaking. Y'all did all that to get to the man, and the man that took himself out. You did all that to these people just to go out an easy way like that? That's what? Have you lost your mind? You let... Who? I don't know. I don't know who even told he can go off the hook like that. That was crazy. Like, he did all that. You put these people through so much traumatic pain. You just, oh my goodness, you done took so many lives, so many souls, without a care in the world, man. You just did not care. You treated them gruesomely. You didn't feed them. Nothing. When it all starts to crumble and fall down, you just end it like that?
It's faster than a soggy scone. India goes independent. African nations follow. And suddenly, British subject becomes just subject. But Britain doesn't give up being relevant. During the Cold War, the UK becomes a founding member of NATO, keeps a powerful navy, and builds nuclear weapons. Because if you can't have an empire, at least have deterrence. Then came 1982. Argentina invades the Falklands. Britain launches Operation Corporate, a naval task force including aircraft carriers, subs, and Gurkhas. 8,000 miles later, in freezing weather and brutal terrain, British forces retake the islands. Okay. All for some sheep, sovereignty, and a message. Don't poke the post-imperial lion. Today, the UK military isn't the biggest, but it is among the most advanced. The British Army wields modern kit, Challenger 3 tanks, Ajax reconnaissance vehicles, and enough bureaucratic delays to build a base in peacetime. The Royal Navy? Still top tier. Queen Elizabeth and Prince of Wales are giant aircraft carriers floating around the Indo-Pacific like floating Brexit ads. And beneath the surface lurk the Trident submarines, 4 Vanguard-class SSBNs, each carrying nukes that can ruin your week.
Ooh, how much do things cost? Maybe like... What's the budget for one of those? Maybe around like 8.5, 8.5. Do y'all military? Yeah, y'all military. Like what, 8.5 bill? Too much? Too high or too low?
In under 30 minutes. And then there's the SAS.
Gotta be.
Small, lethal, unreasonably calm. If you ever hear who dares wins, it's either them or someone trying to sell dodgy crypto. So what is Britain's military legacy? It's a patchwork of glory and guilt, of conquest and courage.
And they do not need a lot of people. It's the experience that is what matters. That's what counts, man. You know, the British military has definitely had their ups and downs throughout their time in history. You know, fighting alongside their allies or going against the enemy. Yes, all through history. I mean, it sucks. That's for every country. That's for everyone's history, of course. That's for all of us individually. We're all going to have ups and downs and go through stuff. What matters is the way they pull through and they're able to just, you know, as such a, I guess, a smaller formation, such a smaller unit of people, still able to control, fight and control and take charge. Numbers don't mean nothing because I just see so many comments. You know, people are like, I understand that, Strac, what you're saying, but if there's about 2,000 extra plus soldiers versus, 500, you know, I guess you could say well-trained UK military soldiers, then who's going to win? The people with 2K soldiers, right? I mean, it really depends on the training. We can't really, you know, compare and contrast, you know, two different militaries like that. It just doesn't make sense. But the British military is insane, though. And I can say that they are well-trained, better trained than the U.S., yes, but we have a higher defense budget. We have more ammunition. We have more artillery. We have more of everything, man. We have more of everything. You know, the U.S. is really strong when it comes towards, you know, financial budget, like military budget and just owning everything. For real, straight up, and just having quantity, having numbers. Canada, they're really known for just, you know, being quiet, being just unpredictable, being humble, Strong military, but what they are really known for is for all their goods, their materials, their minerals, stuff that our countries need. Everyone, yeah. And the British, the UK's military, you guys don't have numbers. Quantity does not matter, It's the experience that matters. It's the experience. It's like how you gonna put a bunch of 100 little kids versus 10 NBA players. Who you think gonna win? Put 100 grown men against 5 NBA players. Who gonna win? Put 100 random men. I don't care if they work out. No experience. You could be as big a diesel as you want. 100 grown diesel men. We don't care. Versus 10 rugby players. Put it that way. Who gonna win? Who you think gonna win? I got it. Each rugby player is gonna jack up at least 2-3 men on their own. Why? Experience. And that's what matters. It's not about the quantity all the time, guys. And it's not always about a defense budget. Money does not buy intelligence. How many times I gotta explain it to you people? Money don't buy intelligence, man. It don't. We got a lot of rich people, well-off people in this world that are just well out of their minds, though. Everyone feel free to like, comment, subscribe, turn all post notifications on if you enjoyed this educational video just as much as myself learning about the insane history of the UK's military. I love it so much. I love learning, man. Let's keep it going. Let's continue learning more about your fabulous country and looking at all the other places to visit and just digging deep more into the culture as always. Everyone stay safe. Feel free to follow the Twitch and Patreon in the description down below. And I hope they catch you all in the next reaction video. Flood my comment sections as well. Y'all know the deal.